Hi, this is Cherise Taylor with Tailored for You Enterprises, your Take It to the Top coach. I want to talk to you today about a very delicate matter in regards to the workplace, and that is your personal business in the workplace. When should you share with your coworkers, and what should you share? And you're going to find as you explore this issue that many different business coaches and advisors have varied opinions and viewpoints about this. But I'm going to share with you from my experience and what I have found personally that works best. Number one, when we talk about team building and building rapport with the people in your office, it's nice to share some what I call tidbits of personal information. But there's a certain level of that personal information. There's a certain line that I think is wise to walk. It's definitely wise to walk because the first thing that we have to remember beyond building rapport and team building, camaraderie, all of those things, is that we are being issued a check. We are being issued a paycheck every week, every other week, once a month, whatever that system is for you professionally, to do a certain job. You were hired to do a particular job, and in that job, you're expected to fulfill certain duties. Your 40 hours of the week, part time, 24 hours of the week, whatever the case may be. You are being required, it is expected that you're going to fulfill the duties of that job. And so we're there more so to do our work than to socialize. So the boss is not going to often check in to say, hey, did you socialize with your coworkers this week? Did you share a tidbit of personal information with everybody to build rapport? More than likely, those aren't the things that they're going to really be checking on. But we do have to talk about, I've always talked about the balance of knowing your trade, knowing your skill, having that book knowledge, academic knowledge to do your job, and then also your emotional intelligence and your interpersonal skills. And this is where this subject comes into play. So I think it's really nice when you can feel like the people that you are spending 40 hours a week with feel comfortable with you. And these are people who know just a little bit about you. Maybe you go to lunch, you know the favorite restaurants that you like. You share little tidbits about your kids and what they're doing. You share little tidbits about what high school you went to, those types of things to show a little human side of you, show a less professional side, more of a personal side of you. I think that is an art. I think that's an art to be able to do that and to walk the line. And I think some people grossly cross that line. And I think that's more or less what I want to talk about here on today's episode of Tailored for Success. We have to be sure that we realize, number one, we're at work. We're at work. We are not home. We are not at the family picnic. We are not at Starbucks swapping stories. We're not at happy hour. We're at work. And so personal conversations and personal interactions should be kept to a minimum, and they should be kept to proper times. On my Blog Talk Radio broadcast, Tailored for Success, I've talked about the limits of personal exchanges, and in my opinion, they should be very brief. 30 seconds to 3 minutes. And 3 minutes is really on the generous side. So if you can't say what you need to say, 30 seconds to 3 minutes, I don't think it needs to be said. You need to say it at break. You need to say it during your lunch break. You need to say it before work, after work, unless it's in regards to business. And there's some fine details with that as well. You need to schedule a time if the exchange is going to take more than that. When you pass someone in the hallway and that person is on their way to the copy room, or they're on their way to uh, lunch, or they're on their way to a restroom break, whatever the case is, remember that that person is on their way to get something done. And so if you happen to see each other and you share some niceties, you share an exchange or what have you, that's great. But you want to keep that brief. You want to keep that brief. And then when we talk about the range of what you are sharing with your coworkers in the workplace, you want to keep some fine lines. You don't want all of your business to quote unquote be out there. And you may have developed rapport with certain people over long periods of time. Sometimes it's been over a course of years. You've developed a friendship with somebody that even bleeds outside of the workplace. But we still want to be careful within those walls about how deep we go with sharing our personal business. Remember that it's not a counseling office, it's not your business advisor or your coach, it's work. And so going deep into really personal issues, you want to be very, very careful about that, because things happen. And what tends to happen is that one trusted individual will sometimes tell another trusted individual. And that individual will tell the person that they trust. And before you know it, there's office gossip. And everybody knows your business. And I want to just give you this other tip before we leave today's episode, is that the parking lot of your workplace is still work. And so you don't know who is around the corner. You don't know who's sitting in their car. So you just want to really be careful about sharing personal information with coworkers on the parking lots, as well as the office, as well as the hallways, because sometimes the parking lot talks as well. So you just want to be careful of that. Also, your professional business line, your email line, that should not be for personal correspondence either, because I'm sure most companies have an ITS department and who can investigate if they need to. There's usually, if there's not just cause, no one's going to do that. But keep in mind that that email attached to your work domain is work property. So you want to be careful as you are sitting down and putting those work emails together, not to include personal information. Even if it's work related, make sure that you're writing those emails and that correspondence in the right spirit and the right state of mind, because once you click send, you cannot retrieve it. Once you speak that business out and those words out, you cannot retrieve that. So just be very cautious and very careful about sharing your personal business in the workplace. Until next time, I am your host, Cherise Taylor, and remember that the best is yet to come. Thank you. Bye-bye.